What did you hit? What hit you?
Those $10,000. I'll be some.
Radiator and motor?
Huh?
Radiator and motor?
Body works bad.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh, as I'm fighting 27, the car was going to the intersection. They stopped coming to the intersection. My foot wasn't even off the brake. My foot slipped off the brake, hit the cam accelerator. We bypassed the first and second gear, hit the turbo, frickin' rear end, 6 feet away.
Yikes.
There's their dumping. On top. Here's mine. I think it's practice.
Radiator didn't run an over motor then? It's killed the motor?
Just was pushed right into the compressors down. Shutter, things are all crashed. It's coding right now because of no air turbo. He said I can drive it.
What?
I've never hit anyone in my life.
Would you take it over the?
Jim split.
Oh.
How are you, by the way? I'm a little proud. Thanks to one.
Hey, how you feeling? So he would be, he's supposed to be on the end.
What's the move?
God, don't do that. This is, they're both here,
You know,
they're both here.
it's up for us.
If you sit where we are today, then they're gonna be able to tell you the name on the team's meeting. Those who cooperate to that extent are there. I'm like, or not cooperate to that extent. I said on the end.
Everything going.
Everything.
What do you have? Grab.
I emailed everything. Agenda is up there. This is my stuff for the special meeting with the authority.
I don't. We did, go ahead now. We were wrong. It's yeah.
Yeah, we need to do these guys first. I'll get the. There's a couple of things on the agenda are going to be very soon. Not to my head, I mean. That's a last time. Stuff, so we're trying to have every.
The board's back there advanced. No. I'm just saying. It is what it is. But traditionally, you always get a board thing, so I have to name it. I see distress. So no. Oh, it's probably time. I said it's
I know.
It's fine. We lowered it. Thoughts. I use this stitches. Okay, well, it's fine. So
There's a couple places.
that.
Mm-hmm. So. And they were like, yeah. You know, everything happens for us. What that's what I started doing about some weeks ago. Finally, the agenda's up there. Okay. Just ask them. Yeah. That's, yeah. Okay. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but I sent all the pertinent information by email. I mean, some of this is just, we're gonna go through this, all attached stuff. But the agenda is up there. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. At what time, Clerk Hearn? 12:33. All right, now Clerk Hearn has had some issues that took some dental work, so he's going to speak very softly if he speaks at all. So we call the meeting to order. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to beg your indulgence for 1 minute, please. My speech is not real good because my tongue is about twice as big as it could be. I've asked Trustee Monet if he would do the speaking for me. I'll certainly take minutes, but I'd rather do as little speaking as I can, so I don't. My wife said, yes, I can understand you. Blah, 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 blah. That is not the way I want to come across on the third. So, with your permission, I'd like him to do that. Supervisor Bertrand, is that all right? That is fine by me.
Roll call.
Certainly.
Treasurer Hobbs.
Here.
Clerk Carney.
Here.
Supervisor Bertrand.
I'm here.
Trustee Detman.
Here.
And Trustee Monet.
Let me ask the audience, can you hear us? Okay. Could be a little louder, Pam, overall for the mic. No, you gotta do it right now. About 10 inches away from the microphone. Everything is somewhat preset to operate off of that, even taking into account that some of us have softer voices. But it should still be coming out in this room. Check. If you get on that mic, you'll hear it start to bounce around in the room. At that point, I know you're hearing us. But if at some point you guys are really having a problem, raise your hand or something, because we may be able to do an adjustment. Thank you for coming. Look at the front. Today we're here for the Lyon Township August work session, followed by a special meeting to discuss an outline for the township's septic ordinance. There is an agenda that's on the table. There's an agenda that I sent to the board members. At this point, I have no modifications to offer. If anybody on the board wants to suggest an addition or a modification, please do so now. I do not hear any. I will make a motion then that we approve the agenda as written. All those or do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed the same. Motion carries. Okay, the first thing on the agenda, as you probably all know, you are here for some specific reasons. We're going to try and get to you quick. There's a couple of things we need to do beforehand, and they're going to be reasonably fast. And I'm going to try and move this along, this whole meeting along as quickly as I can. This is the biggest agenda we've ever turned out. Number one on the agenda is to set a meeting time of 9:30 for Monday, the 18th for JC, the maintenance man, myself, Kevin and Bruce to meet and discuss the upcoming weeks. Workload and priorities. This was approved at the last board meeting. I just want to make it official that we will have a meeting on Monday. And I'm suggesting 9:30. Oh, me, I'm never too loud. I'm gonna suggest 9:30 and just open it up for general discussion. Kevin, if you got a different time, let me know, or.
That's good for me.
Okay, we'll set that meeting at 9:30 for Monday morning. Number 2.
Real quick, may I interject here? I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
just want people to know, trustee Detmer stepped away to see if we can get copies of the agenda for himself and myself. I didn't realize that it was only an email form, so we don't have copies of it. So we're kind of going in blind right now,
Did we run out over here?
but that's not the full agenda that you have. I only have,
So let's sing along.
I don't have any sing along.
No.
Anything you're talking about, I don't have in front of me.
No, it's.
I have no ideas. He's not, he's just talking.
So it's not.
Oh, I didn't remember the program Monday night. I thought we shot that. Oh,
Well, we've got, taking, well,
okay.
and he wants, and then. But this was just for like.
It's a meeting that we're all allowed to give your review this time
Yeah, no, this is just to go over what these guys are gonna be doing during the week.
for the safety thing. Is that what's going on?
This is just for what their priorities are gonna be. The ancient, all that, so, thank you. Thank you.
Don't we have one meeting that's it's not,
We have.
so it'll couple more if you don't have the whole. Thing. Okay, so obviously in the learning curve, we gotta stay away from that mic a little bit more. It's fine. Back to the agenda. Status of our copy machine. I don't know if you had a chance to look at this, but the last information I got from Courtney had to do with the fact that they were starting to charge us more money, or wanted to charge us more money. You know if that ever got resolved, or still kind of in limbo on it?
They may have won. They may have won the third with a little more money, but it was still far less than the new people wanted. We got quotes from color copies to all kinds of different things. And our advice is leave it for now.
Okay. Any board comments on that? It was mostly just to try and catch up to where we're at on that thing.
Not necessarily on that topic, but if we approve the agenda, we skipped right over board comments.
You are correct, sir. I will back up.
Excuse me.
Oh, I've never been accused of not having a big mouth. Hey, we skipped right over board comments.
I didn't, for these microphones, if you get right into it or 3, they're gonna break up.
Okay.
So there's a sweet spot we're trying to find. It's skipped right over it. So let's back up to the motion carried to approve the agenda. Let's work right to board comments and then we'll go back where we were. Any comments from the board today in relation to this meeting or otherwise?
I have something to say. First of all, I want to apologize to, and well, good afternoon, by the way. I want to apologize to the residents of Lyon Township. In my confusion and angst, because that's all I do is seem like I read and read and read. I totally confused the idea of what the informational meeting was for the SAD levels last week. And not a single representative from Lyon Township was there. And that's not acceptable. I thought it was the assessment role hearing. And I truly even told other people, make sure you go if you want to object. So I do apologize for not being there because I would have been there if I really truly thought it was just an informational meeting. So I read a lot of the information online, but I didn't want the residents to think that Lyon Township did not care. First of all. Second of all, we have a board meeting coming up, so I will have a lot to say myself today because I can't make Saturday meetings and it is on a Saturday this month. So I just want to apologize for that too, that I will still do my due diligence, but I will not be at the board meeting this month. Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Does that sound about loud enough? Okay, now we will close the board comments and jump back into where we were on the agenda. The agenda indicated that number 3 and 4 had to do with resident requests, one for speed bumps, temporary speed bumps, one for children at play sign. I got information. Here was one of them, and I had another one for the children at play. I got this yesterday afternoon from the road commission. I'm going to read it because it is the answer to all, to both of them actually. And I made some copies of these to give to the residents that were interested in this. I know Ed, you were. So this is the whole email saying that I had with the Bobby about this. And if you know anybody else here who was interested in that, what I'm going to do is read this because this is the answer to both of these agenda items. Naples children at play signs are no longer in the MUTCD. That is the book for sign placement, which sets a requirement for roadway signing. We no longer allow these to be placed in the right of way. There were quite a few studies that showed these signs were ineffective and did not slow the traveling public down. Hence why they were removed in the MUTCD. Temporary speed bumps is also going to be a no. We simply would not allow any sort of an object to be placed in the roadway that could potentially be a safety hazard for the traveling public. If there are concerns with speeds, the township could request a speed study from the road commission on a certain segment of a road to see if the current speed limit is adequate. This could go both ways though. I.e. if the road is 35 and our engineering study shows that 45 is warranted, posted speed could increase. I hope this helps. In another one that may be in your packet, he indicated that then this may be something you need to pursue with the Roscommon County Sheriff's Department, which I know you already are doing. But that's the official answer. And I would suggest that you could contact them, but I think he's pretty clear. And also maybe this needs to go to the Sheriff's Department with a little more vigor. So that is the end of that story. So I'm not going to entertain the comment on it. I think the comment is related to if you want to pursue it farther, that's where you're going to have to go. There's really nothing we can do about it unless we try to do a speed study. I don't think anybody, if everybody's going 45, I don't know that you want to have that happen.
Can I say something?
Sure, you can go ahead, but we got to move back.
This one's putting going 45. I've come to them a few times. They've sent people out. They're busy. The law enforcement's busy. They can't be there all the time. But there was no residential sign at the top of the hill before they went into the new subdivision. So it's up by Scout and Easter. But the thing is that didn't slow anything down. It's residential. I think it's been it's not should be done because everybody's going way too fast, where they come on the road that says slow down, whatever. Maybe we want more law enforcement to sit there and write these tickets, because I'm afraid my grandkids, a ball runs across the road, they chase it, someone wants 60, you can't stop in time to go 25 through my vehicle to avoid an accident or hurting somebody or killing somebody.
It's not for school people, then not one. speed bump out there. Dogs, you've got ridiculous.
There's a safety concern with all three residents on the corner here. And it starts from the top of the hill, it's and eastern, it goes down to West Highlands Lake. And it's is where they gain their speed as they come down the hill. And there's no brake lights until they're past my driveway and almost near the end of the road. In the wintertime, that gets so black ice that people would slide right through it. So the safety concern is not only with the kids walking and then people walking their dogs, their golf course, motorcycles, all that stuff. The speed is the biggest factor. You cannot stop going down even at 25 in the winter time. That should go into that stop sign.
Okay, you may notice in that material, I hit them up with all of that. Walking dogs, the whole thing. I have no problem trying to pursue looking at the cost of the speed study and doing it personally.
Yes,
Not someone will not speak for the board.
I know just that something is better than nothing. They should serve and will and make it adjust towards the safety rather than doing nothing at all. And maybe this could lead to something else to the speed set. Something's better than nothing.
Bring down your motorcycle, my grandkids, my dog, something, shit's gonna get banned if that happens. We've got here.
Yeah, I actually advocated for the temporary speed bumps. And I know where the children at play signs were intended to be. I got no problem with that. This is the answer we have to deal with. I was told a long time ago, and I think it's true. If you look in there, he gives you a series of things that can be posted. You're off getting a deal for us sign than you are trying to get children to play.
I mean, it's ridiculous. We have to do something with that. It's. Who's gonna get that something to this? Then.
Okay, I am gonna advocate for a speed study. I'm not sure there's anything more that we can do right at this.
Well, that's a good start.
I would suggest you do.
Okay, so that's probably your next.
I would just like to say, I don't agree with that opinion because, for instance, for a cost effectiveness, they put the solar powered stop signs at 104 and 27. I noticed them way more now than I've ever noticed the stop sign there before. So I can't see how a solar powered sign, slow down, speed limit enforcement, something of the area you're talking about would not help. Because, yeah, I'm just saying, I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
We have a board meeting next week. I can get a cost estimate from them on a speed study. We can bring it up to the board again. But we cannot stay on this thing. We have a million things to do. Go ahead, but make it quick, sir. Okay, that is good enough. Whatever.
and they put that thing up, that thing that shows, every car that passes, it shows. Okay. All right.
Yes, that'll put the numbers across them. You count how many cars, how fast, when they're going.
And like at each, they see it coming around, yeah, problem. And there was a very loud one.
I'd like to open it up more, but we need to move, so.
The freedom and people we scout and what they have, it's work.
I think, yeah, they're pretty clear that's not gonna happen. But yeah, you certainly have the right to. This, and, this is our first answer. So maybe,
Just might have to knock on more doors.
yeah. Okay, so that encompasses doing, agenda item number 4 and agenda item 3. So we are now on agenda item 5, which I have a feeling most of you people are here for. Excuse me when I keep my paperwork in order, or try to. I have gotten several official complaints on the phone through the complaint forms. Kevin has talked to a couple of people too, as far as Higgins Lake Utility Authority and the billing process. I invited Brian Cook to be here today. He had some suggestions that I think make sense. Kevin and I have started talking about it, so we're going to throw it out to the board and then give you a certain amount of time for comments. Right now, it's looking, Brian Cook is suggesting that we have a meeting with the entire Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board and this board, public meeting. And I don't want to say hash it out, but have a chance for them to speak their mind as individuals on that board, for us to hear it. I personally do not know all of what's going on. And in order to do that, we'd have to call a special meeting to do it, and the public would be invited, and that would give you an opportunity to voice your opinions about everything you're hearing too. You certainly have the rights as residents of Lyon Township, in my opinion, to ask the township board to look into this, and that's what we're gonna do. At the same time, we are somewhat powerless except for we appoint people to the Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board. Brian Cook is there now for a 2-year term. The other 2 people are sitting on expired terms, but they occupy those seats until replaced. I don't know that that's gonna happen. Certainly, everybody I think needs to hear and get up to speed with what's going on out there from the perspective of us. And I got every time I see something and somebody tells me it's in stone a certain way, I know there's another side to the story. I gotta hear both. I gotta hear what's going on. So at the end of, I'm gonna open it up for discussion. And we have to be brief, but at the end of it, I'm gonna try and make a motion that we do it, that we call a special meeting. And that we have Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board and our board be there.
Words as well, so that's involved.
I don't see why not. Well, it's open to the pub, the Meter Creek, that's a good question.
They have 35 residents that were in the system. The rest of our Lyon Township.
Let's go to comments, and when we come back to the board, we can talk about wording the request to include, a certain amount of groups or all the groups, and then see if it even. That possibility.
I would just like to say one thing regarding this. If the 2 people that their positions are going to expire, I think one of us, and I will personally do it, volunteer to be on that board. So at least Lyon Township has a board representative on that board. So if anybody has questions, we should be able to provide answers instead of not knowing, what's going on at in that board, because we don't see minutes, we don't see anything. And if there's,
Well, okay, hang on, from here on in, if I open it to comment, please come to the table. I'll give you a minute because we can't go 5 minutes for everybody. But that way it'll come out on the recording and it'll be on the recording. Talking from there, there's no guarantee. Any other board comments first on that? Okay, let's open it up to public comment. One at a time, tell us who you are and where you live. And then we'll give you a minute. I know that's brief, but this was not necessarily planned into the schedule of a very long meeting. Anyway.
Watson, 11995 Military Room. And I only have 2 questions that I don't expect you'll have answers for, but I'd like you to look into them. Number 1, how much does the CULA administrator, Brian Cook, get paid? I'd like to know his amount. Am I too loud? I'm sorry.
No, probably not. I'm trying to keep them same.
And secondly, how much does the UL board members make? Those are my 2 questions, and I'd like answers to them. I know you probably don't have them today, so unless you do, that's all I want to know.
I think all you do, don't you?
No, but I'm fine. Thank you, sir. Hey, thank you.
Joan Ballard, 126 Lincoln Park, Legion Drive. I guess I'm curious as to, you mentioned that there are 2 board members that are working on expired. So how are the positions and what are their assignments from? Because our understanding is there's 2 from Lyon Township, 2 from Beaver Creek, and then the 5th is assigned by both townships.
Yeah, the 5th is Brian. So that's called 50-50 position. The two from Lyon Township, the two from, Beaver Creek are separate from us, so we as a board appoint and prove the representatives to the Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board from Lyon Township. Right now, they're operating where one expired a couple of months ago. The other one expired longer than that. That's not that unusual. Basically, you occupy that seat until it changes.
Who are those individuals?
Hang on, I can find that for you. Marcy Wilson and Tammy Gage.
And they're both working on expired.
Yes, but again, that doesn't mean you're out. That just means you're there until something changes.
Okay, and what takes to make a change?
This board would have to put it on the agenda to either appoint new people. Well, would have to put it on the agenda to appoint new people, have people willing to serve, and then vote on it.
Okay, thank you.
Any volunteers?
I thought everybody's hand.
Oh, I'm Tim Downey, 104 Lincoln Park Legion Drive, president of the CCCOA. This whole thing just needs to move forward. It seems like a fight. I don't know why. In their current agreement from both townships with against Hula and us, it says an O&M fees, which are our quarterly fees, will be discussed between both parties and come up with the best way to do it. In the past, it's been Hula coming up with policies, demanding camp to go by them. No discussion with us at all. I have packets here I'm going to pass out to each of you with communications and agreements from our mediation. We've already been in mediation. It looks like we're going back to mediation. We agreed to do a proposal. Anybody late on Hula fees will lose active privilege in the camp, meaning no boat in the water, no voting, no serving on committees. We did that. We received a slew of phone calls to people wanting to pay their bills. I guess it was too much. Brian didn't want to answer the phone no more, so he just quit accepting phone calls and returning messages. And then proceeded to put on the website, Hula website, in big red print at the top, do not call for delinquencies. Calls will not be returned. I couldn't imagine DT or consumers doing something like that. It's an easy fix. If someone's delinquent, you put delinquency on the nothing.
Can you leave some of the benefits for us?
You know, there's going to be a project I do that for. We can make it happen.
Give me one, we can make that.
Copy that.
Service.
Yeah.
Who else would like to make a public comment on the record?
Just more context for that, I guess.
Once you
That's awesome. Thank you.
But we told the Mr. Cook said that the camp was to give out the amount of delinquencies. I'm not sure. We had a list in the beginning, but I don't know if there's late fees or not on there. I have text from Ryan, after mediation, calling to make sure I have the right number for people to call. It's in the packet. Their own letter from their attorney. It's highlighted in yellow in that packet. Also says the members can call and he will get them squared away. The admin responsibilities is in there. It's covered in there. They are all supposed to do that. I don't get, it's too simple. If you're late, you pay. We agreed to help them. And that's what it should have been from the beginning. Both of us were the only customer in the Hula, so why are we fighting with each other?
Good points.
Yeah.
We'll see how this turns out here. There's another meeting that'd be.
So, I mean, again, we did do mediation and we're going back the way, but both boards, both townships, Hula and camp can sit together. Let's get shit out and move out, man. This is getting out of control. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else want to make a comment for the record about this?
126 Lincoln Park. So recently had one of our last World War II veterans die and passed on, and so his children went to change the billing address. And so they got a hold of it, went through the system like they were told to, like it states on the website. And they wouldn't accept the billing address change. What government agency hands money away? I don't understand this. How does the LUA money away? That's probably $20,000 that's sitting there. People have wanted to pay it, and they're not accepting it. They're not accepting phone calls. They're not accepting anything from us. And the other thing is, why is the tail wagging the dog? Well, security cottages that belong to Beaver Creek, line. And I feel they're really, plus you're lacking the person on the board. But technically, I think being able to walk into a meeting because I'm taking the lead for the board before. But there are some real issues. Who's in control?
You mean Beaver Creek Township Board or the Higgins Lake Utility Authority?
In Beaver Creek, it seems to be,
No, I mean, somebody's missing from Beaver Creek Board or
well, there's only 4 people on the board, is that correct?
it should be fun.
There might be, you're right. There's 4, there's only been 4 for, let's say, 4 or 5 years, man. See me out on that. They're like the problem with why Beaver Creek had so much power over Lyon Township. Why can't we place it? Why can't we get somebody from where we do 1 person? But to me, the logical thing is there should be a representation of Camp Cornelia in the board. You don't understand. When they come up, when they didn't make a bond payment, you make it, well, you've never made a late bond payment in the 15 years we've been making this payment. You do have blanket payers of the quarterly bills, and when they call to try to get the information, you don't understand that. And we showed up with 30 people the other day because we wanted an answer to Brian didn't show up. We thought like Brian was going to be here, and we wanted some answers from the person who carded to the board. He has walked away from this and has walked away from here. The only people that he's counting to is Beaver Creek, and I don't understand.
Under his defense, what he's suggesting is that they all be. So I don't think that he's necessarily shirking it as much as he's saying, I'm not the only one making all these decisions. So, and I agree with that.
You know, Mr. Bertrand, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody in there agrees with that.
I think we should call him in at least and have a chat with Brian.
And another thing, I
So,
see,
but I got it. Let me see if somebody else wants to talk. And if they do, we'll give them a chance.
Meetings are down the Beaver Creek, God's sake.
Okay, as long as. Try to keep it shorter between the individuals. But for now, nobody else is gonna talk, maybe you can go a little on. This meeting is was not called for this specific, so we have to roll the agenda. And we-
103 Middle Legion Drive. I have 2 things. 1, people that have late payments are sending to catch up, make their payment. And Hulu is sending them back. I don't know why. But they are. The other thing is, I think it would be a good idea if Lyon Township would start hosting the Hulu meetings in Zoom. Beaver Creek does not have that capability. That's what we were told the other night at the meeting. So if we could have them here and do a Zoom meeting, because they like to have them at 4 o'clock on Monday, and a lot of people are working. And they can't take time off from work over time to attend a meeting. So if they could do a Zoom, it would be very helpful. You'd get a lot more people involved.
And it's a recording, so you look at.
Still got minutes the other day.
Just the minutes is the-
It's only show bullet points. This was voted on, approved. This was, there was no discussion anywhere in their minutes. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Again, before Lincoln Park. So the old Lyon Township Board, removed Mr. Brown from the board. It took this place until somebody was appointed. Well, my first Hula meeting, it was all deer and headlight. Nobody knew what to do. Brian is the only one with access to the website, the propane refill, the credit cards, any phone number you hit option 4, 3, 2, 1, they all run Brian Cook. Brian Cook runs Hula. So I told him my first meeting, don't your mistake. You have one guy that does it all. I don't understand that. And I'm sure if they were to move Brian today, that would be the same case. Nobody knows how to do anything. So that's a big problem that needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, if you got more to say, do it reasonably. Yeah, this will be, I mean. That's again, well, we're listening, but again, understand, listen,
it's just one more thing.
hang on. But we're trying to arrange a special meeting where this will count. We are listening to you, we're writing it down. But we can't do anything now except set a meeting and try and include all the people involved.
Well, this is gonna take more than 30 seconds, but I just want to give you an idea where this is going.
Amen.
Guys, so at Brian Crest College, one day they dug a trench. We thought maybe they're gonna move the grinder pump. Well, to find out they want to switch the power from the grinder pump, put it into his plant. And when I found that out, I put a stop to it because the land use chairman in there, we sent him a letter. I talked to Doug Kuiper about this. I called Lyon Township. Lyon Township told me that you cannot transfer from one panel to another because the utility authority pays for it. And then transfer it into a house because they got a generator. And 30 people asked me to do this. I said, you can't touch it. It's like utility authority equipment. But where this is going, and because of the money, they're gonna start wanting to change the power supply payment system from Hula to the cottage owner, and that's what that's what we're doing, which means it's gonna be more payment on our bank. And I know it's gonna have this way, and I just want to give you a heads up on that. And that's part of the reason, when we listened to Lyon Township, and I informed Doug Kuiper in a letter, and Brian Cook, and we told them they cannot switch that over without getting an electrical permit from Lyon Township for your directives. And so there's stuff going on here that you guys maybe aren't aware of. Happen. We need more representation of Lyon Township and more be active on the board. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comment, and then we'll see if we can wrap this up for now. Okay, let me ask for a board comment first before we drift into trying to do a motion. Anybody has anything they want to say?
We'll just say this from what I've heard here in the last half an hour. We need to get involved. And like now, whether it's being on the board, getting people in here and hold people accountable. Because to not return phone calls and emails, that's unacceptable as a public official. That's your job. So, like I said, if we're gonna replace these two Lyon board members, I don't know what we can do with Beaver Creeks, but we can do something on our end. That's all I got, but this should be a top of our agenda for next meeting.
I kind of agree that we should be dealing with this. The amount that at least some of us know about this, all the payment, the change of power, the lack of phone call returns is amazing. I knew nothing about it, zero, and I'm one of the 5 board members here. I just knew there was an argument, and I knew that these concerns need to be addressed. That's it.
I'd just like to say, I find it alarming that there's only 4 board members. And there's supposed to be 5 for all this time. And I think number one is how or why did that ever happen? And I mean, not that we're gonna discuss it here, but well, if we have 2 that are expired and they have to be, re-upped or voted back in or otherwise, who's missing? Is there a Beaver Creek representative missing or? There is? Okay. So that's number one for me is why that's going on. And anyone who knows me knows I'm a stickler for procedures. If it ain't in writing, it doesn't exist. If there's things in writing that I don't care who you are or what they're not being adhered to for procedural requirements, it's wrong. And you have the right to know why it's wrong. And I don't think there's anything else that's acceptable until that's made right. So I'm definitely going to look into it myself. So thank you.
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming here and filling us in on what's going on. And I'd like to thank you for the decorum. Because I've been to a lot of different meetings and oftentimes when you get this many people that are upset about something, it doesn't go that well. Guys were communicated well, you told us what the problem is and stuff. You made me aware, but you've opened my eyes up to it. And we'll do our best that we can to get this stuff straightened out, get you guys back on the right path. Thank you.
Okay, let me ask a question. How many different organizations were involved in this? I have, Camp Cornelia, the Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board, but I've heard two more out here. Who are the others?
Lyon Townships. Two that I want to hold the bond.
Right, but we have, okay, so Blue Creek and Lyon Townships, Camp Cornelia, and the Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board, right? Okay. If there's no other comments from our member, I'm gonna make a motion that covers two areas.
Can I say something real quick first? It just dawned on me, if Beaver Creek is missing a representative, so the voting power is with Lyon Township, and why is this even happening if we had known?
It's true. I think Brian Cook is appointed by Beaver Creek.
50-50.
No, he's 50-50. No, I'm saying though, but if you look at the numbers, you have two Lyon, one at large, and you have a Beaver Creek and a Beaver Creek rep's missing. You know what I'm saying? It's like Lyon Township should be more involved because then the voting power kind of rests with Lyon Township. You're, okay.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
move towards.
Oh, he's,
Some, I mean, no, thank you, but I mean, I'm trying to do things.
he's in it now.
So now, historically,
Sorry.
oh, that's right. Historically, the open position has been the 50-50 position.
Right.
Since Brian was appointed to that 50-50 position, there was an opening on Beaver Creek side now. So for years, it's been the 50-50 position that didn't get filled.
Okay.
Beaver Creek currently has someone who's agreed to serve on the board. So going forward, unless something changes, we've got five finally. So that's where that's at.
But how long has it been only 4?
Years.
Why- It doesn't even make sense to my.
Come to an agreement on 50-50 position.
I can't even process that.
So,
We get the.
nope.
You don't agree on the 50. Okay.
The two boards could not agree on a 50-50 position. There was several people that were interested in doing it.
For a utility authority?
Yep.
All right, let's not get into weeds, Chris.
The hazard of appointing the 50-50 position is the only way you can remove that person is by the agreement of both townships.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, yeah.
That was a big snag. We offered to change that to one township could just remove that person. And
Yeah.
Lyon wouldn't agree to that.
I remember I said on those meetings.
Yeah, so that's why can't have these.
Okay, well, thank you.
Sounds like it wouldn't take much right now to remove them.
I remove this because we're, yakking at each other, but I'm not gonna get anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion that this board approves. I'm gonna read it through and, part of this has got to do with. We're gonna make an offer to help also, but I'm gonna read it through and we'll see if it flies. I'm gonna make a motion that the township, this Lyon Township Board approve drafting a letter to the Higgins Lake Utility Authority offering to help if we can be of assistance. And to also call for a special public township board meeting, inviting the Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board, the Beaver Creek Township Board and Camp Cornelia Board to discuss finances and Lyon representation. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any discussion from this board?
I would just say before you plan a special meeting, let's make sure everybody's on board. That is whatever date. I mean, I don't want to do a special meeting and say it's next month and the authority doesn't show up or,
No, I'm assuming that we could declare the date of the meeting next Wednesday at our board meeting.
well,
But you're talking, with these.
that's what I'm saying, let's make sure they can make it before we do it.
Well, I'd also like to say too, before any meeting takes place, that this board get up to speed on exactly what's been going on. It doesn't do any good to sit in on a meeting blind if we don't have information to, process and correlate to. So And we don't have a board meeting next Wednesday. It's Saturday, so it would
I'm
be.
sorry. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me on. Any other discussion from our board? Okay, I would add that, for my part anyway, I would make sure that the different people involved here would be contacted to try and come up with a date that works.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna repeat the motion. I will make a motion that the board approve drafting a letter to the Higgins Lake Utility Authority offering to help if we can be of assistance. And to call for a special public township board meeting, invite the Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board, the Beaver Creek Board, and the Camp Cornelia Board to discuss finances and Lyon representation. Clerk Permer. This in roundabout ways probably involves money enough to say that we should have a roll call. I would like a roll call.
Yep.
I'm gonna defer.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Mr. Monet to do that.
For the motion presented, Mr.
Yes.
Clerk, Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
and Trustee Monet. Yay.
Okay, the motion carries. Look for something on the agenda for our meeting coming up on Saturday. Thank you all for coming again.
For sure.
So we're in this with you. I don't know what the outcome is gonna be, but you guys know the story, so. Lyon Township. We will see how it goes. The rest of this meeting might be really boring to the rest of you, but.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Sir. Yeah, yeah.
Say for this, for to do that for the.
Well, hang on, this is actually on order, not being, so.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Well, definitely be
Yes,
more involved than he's now.
thank you.
Yeah. The agenda. Yeah, it's the, definitely. So they're gonna take it to me because it's a lot of noise, pushing the. Yeah.
Said I'll do.
Well, interesting. Like you said, we're in the outside of the store.
Yeah, oh, I understand. It's two sides of it. So we have kind
So. Okay, let's look it back on the topic for the agenda. This one should be quick. I want to discuss the use of no overnight parking signs at Park 27 and possibly all the parks. The person complained to me about this. I'm kind of in the middle, but it is true that a lot of people who own property on West Higgins Lake Drive are parking their vehicles over the weekend. And parking area, not parking area. On the grass outside the parking area at Park 26. So some weekends there's a dozen, some weekends 4 or 5. I want to suggest that we put up a sign there that says no overnight parking. I don't know that that hurts them, and I don't know that we shouldn't do that in some of the other parks. I'm gonna throw it out there and open it up for discussion for the board first, just what you think about that, and if, if we're kind of going there, we'll make a motion and we'll make something happen. So is there any other board comments on doing that?
That would obviously involve the road commission.
No, this would be on, you're right,
Oh, it's on.
in the park, on the grass at our park.
Oh, okay. I thought it was on the roadside.
No, they're. We'll get it. They're parking there and walking back across 27 to their place on West 6.
So I was gonna say, if it's on the roadside, well, if you can't have a children's sign, how can you have no parking? I agree with you.
No, this is for the inside of the parking area,
Yeah, this is on the inside. If it's on,
not for the road. It doesn't have anything to do with the traffic. It has to do. It has to do with the concert, the parking for the concert being limited and people were boxed out there because there was so many cars there.
so it's inside township property, not on county.
If you've been to the park, it's right next to the little white building inside. Any other conversation or discussion on views from the board? Okay, I'll make a motion, see what happens. Is there a motion that the board approve the cost and purchase of placement of signs stating no overnight parking for use in our parks, starting with Park 27? I will ask for motion one more time.
I'll motion it or second it, I should say, but so we can get to discussion.
All right, let me back that up too. I'll make a motion.
Okay, yeah, you make the motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the board approve the cost of purchase and placement of signs stating no overnight parking for use in our parks, starting with Park 27.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Maloney, board discussion.
Is there a first attack?
A little discussion about it. How are these signs going to impact whatever actions these people that are already taking? We talked about speed limit signs, children playing, all these things. Nobody pays any attention to those. Why is it a sign that's sitting on a post gonna make any difference to somebody that's already doing something they don't think is right? Just my question.
We get them towed then.
What's happening there is there's a hundred situation with a sign that says don't park here. And then the owner right next to that where you can park is where these cars are somewhat collected. Got nothing to do with it. The only thing it's got to do with is inside our park. And to me, I like overnight parking like that. I don't, that's my opinion.
Is there any,
Make sure the discussion from the board.
is there any damage being done or any reason why that they can't park there? Is there something going on that's in the grass or something being destroyed or whatever?
I'm not gonna get into that as much as to me, it's the 24-hour aspect over the course of the week. I don't know, I don't think it's necessarily hurting anything.
And do we have a cost attached to this?
I know we have one sign. It might take two.
No, price, cost, price.
I'm saying, I think we had one sign, might take two. If we had to purchase another sign, that would be the cost. They're typical small, no parking signs. I don't want to get hung up on it. I mean, if you got something, say it, and then I'll put it to a vote.
So the township property owners are parking on township property. They're not hurting anything, but we need to stop them.
The motion is to put signs up to stop that, yes.
Aye.
The overnight aspect is what it's. Yeah, from 11 to 8, I think 11 to 8 is usually typically what that.
To me, if they're not doing anything, they're not breaking any laws for township residents, they're parking there. There's no damage being done. There's no safety being. There's nobody in a hazard. Why go there?
Well,
We also
This is a discussion.
Yeah.
That's why, this is why this is. a
Well,
discussion here.
we can't monitor whose vehicle's there unless you're gonna send someone out to run the license plate. So there is that side of it. So if one person parks there and it is a township person, does that mean the next 10 people who visit, they don't know? Is the sign gonna say for township residents only? No parking overnight? So I think, you can't monitor it. So it's either, to me, it's all or nothing, either no parking there or all that.
Okay, any other discussion from the board?
Someone wants to say something.
I'm not gonna break protocol on that. It's a motion in private.
Yep.
Okay. And the discussion from the board, I'll state the motion again. I would make a motion that the board approve the cost and purchase of placement of signs stating no overnight parking for use in our parks, starting with Park 27. This does involve a little bit of money. If we could do another roll call, that would be very helpful.
Certainly. Thank you, Clerk Kern. On the motion presented, trustee Decker,
No,
trustee Monet, nay. Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
clerk Kern,
No,
and treasurer Hops.
yes.
Okay, the motion does not carry and the vote was 2-3. Okay, next thing on the agenda is to discuss the new Higgins Lake Dam Special Assessment District progress for general opinion and possible township position. I'm throwing that in there. I don't know what's gonna happen. want to read something that I got from, Kim Morley last week and then make an addition to it. This was prior to the meeting at the auditorium. The sad will for 1 year, I'm not sure what, if she's saying only 1 year or that's what it is per year. The township at large would pay, is between $9,000 to $12,000. Now, I got an email from her since when they had the meeting. They got a lot of pushback on, road outs. So now the proposal includes that the township pay for the road outs. And we are in excess of $20,000. So from the perspective of the town, that's what it would do to us. I think most of you are aware that if you have needed access to the water, you're involved in this thing. I'm throwing it out there because we don't have a lot of control over this as a township board. But it's certainly open to opinions, or listen to put your opinion on the record as to anybody who is an issue with this. So I feel to the board, and then again, open to a sure everybody wants to say anything.
This just,
More is concerned. Let me hear it.
this just sounds like a money grab by the county all day long. There is no reason that they need to spend this kind of money on that little dam at all.
Yeah.
And to make the people in townships pay for it. I mean, they've gotten, what is the county's got over $1 million surplus. Come on, what are we doing? Now we're expecting all of us to pay and then you say 1 year? If you think it's gonna be 1 year,
It's not gonna be 1 year. I think it's a typo here. I think she's saying that would be per year.
well, and not only that, I don't know where we're gonna come up with $20,000 as a township to pay this bill. It's not in our budget.
All I know about it is that in the process, after talking with her, Brian Hill talked about this quite a bit a while ago. But if you put in an automated dam, it tends to automatically reset to whatever is going to be the legal lake level. And I believe there's a component of this that may reduce the amount of lawsuits, but I don't see it.
Do you know the flow of water that goes through that dam? Have you ever gone down there and watched this?
See it now.
If you're not, a lot of this started when the dam failed south of us.
Well, that was,
And I can throw one more thing in there.
it was a monster dam.
Yeah, based on the conversation, Eagle is involved in this thing. And there is at least I'm hearing that there is a potential for, if they get dragged into it too far, they could say, oh, you know, they're pushing hard to get rid of all the dams in Michigan. Muskegon River Watershed, Muskegon River Alliance, all those people would love more water going downstream. They have a lot more power and influence than we will ever think about having.
That's just ridiculous.
I just want to say, I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and this isn't political. I'm not a scientist, but just certain things about this don't make any sense to me. And this speaks directly to all of you here. Is at the end of the day, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Houghton Lake exist because of our natural spring fed lake? Anyone? Okay. So it doesn't make sense to me.
Something about it.
Okay, but at the end of the day, if this is the long and short of, I've seen the dam, it does not push that much water through. I can't believe it's this massive, crazy project. So I'm like, first of all, I don't understand why it ever happened in the first place. If it was in disrepair, there's laws in place, take care of it. It should have never gone this far, but that's me. Second of all, everyone who benefits from these dams should pay something. They all receive an indirect benefit. If the dams are there, I'm going to stay there, then what? All of Lyon Township residents and anyone otherwise in Garris, we have to eat up the tab for their luxury? I think it's a shame. I think anyone who has, yes, obviously the people in our townships get a conferred direct benefit. I get it. But there's a lot of residents out there that get an indirect benefit. And why shouldn't they have to pay a portion? I know people say that's not how it works. It's not political. I don't care. It's just if you're going to reap the rewards on someone else's dime, then you pay your portion. That's me.
Any other comments from the board? Okay, I'm not gonna make a motion. If two of you want to get together and make one, that's fine. I think that my personal position is to remain somewhat neutral on this, but the board, this may turn into something that the board is gonna have to get more involved in. I don't know. So I'm gonna again open it up for 1 minute brief comments from the public, just to, if you want to throw your 2 cents in on this thing and get it on record, you can do it now instead of waiting till the end of the meeting, which might be tomorrow. That's the right word. But if anybody's got anything to say about the Higgins Lakes, come on up and say it.
I don't think we ever have. They're still, yeah.
She-
Well, that after like what my name on, I'm not even saying that. $100,000, and I can do it for free.
I believe it was the 15th. Tim would know, it's the third that, September 3rd to declare the sad.
And you have 30 days.
File your objection.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, this is gonna happen, regardless of what our opinions.
Well, we'll see. Never
Yeah.
happen.
Tim, sound familiar? Let's do it. now.
Jeez.
Okay, no comments, we're gonna move along. Sir, come right up, sir.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Bill Toth, and I live at 8695 North Loxley, and I'm not even close to the SAD. But I did go to the meeting. Was the last week, right?
Mhm.
At the meeting, now they discussed this money stuff. None of it has to do with paying for the dam.
No.
None of it has to pay, all it's supposed to pay for is like the testing and the certifications and the lawyer. And the engineering firm, the study. So all this money that they're first collecting this, they had a projected fee of possibly $190 per property or whatever. And then, of course, the money for the townships are us in Garish, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, is there a township on the other side of the lake too? Higgins, is that Higgins Lake?
Garish.
Garish is the only other one, just,
Well, good.
you know what? They mentioned what, what's it, Crawford? They mentioned something about Crawford, but there was no cost for Crawford because they're not on the lake. And, but anyways, all the money was to go for, like I said, other things other than fixing the dam. Just finding out what they want to do. And they did say that if it doesn't get the proper, votes or whatever they have, that it would just be dropped. It could be just dropped and nothing is done. But I mean, they had a price of, for this dam, a projected price of 0 to maybe 4 million. Now, I can't see how you can put $4 million in a dam. Okay.
If you estimate it.
Well, yes, but it isn't, I've never seen it, but it can't be that big.
It isn't.
And the other thing was, of course, what everybody forgets about when they talk about putting a dam in is the maintenance. Somebody's gonna have to run it and take care of it, and that's where the major costs will wind up going to.
Okay,
So I just wanted to let you know
I'm
that,
glad you were at the meeting and you can.
yeah, but that's what I got out of it, is that,
This will be a yearly expense.
yeah, that's what I think too. And according to the township and all that stuff. But, and I agree that some of the costs can't all be done by just the people who are border the lake. Because other people in the township use it, but also we have a heck of a lot of people who come here who don't live here. I mean, like, because of the situation down south of us with the dam on the Tittabawassee River and stuff, those people come here every weekend. It's busy. And, so how do you, I guess all I want to say is rule number 1 is life is not fair. And I don't know how they're going to deal with it, but
Which is why the state of Michigan, being a state lake, should do their constitutional duty, Article 4, Section 52, and protect that lake.
yeah. Well, I agree, but like I said,
Sorry.
as far as this saying,
Yes, we're gonna have to keep rolling. I hate. to-
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know what happened.
I appreciate it. All right. That's great. They said the first exhaust was 250. Okay, hang on now, wait, Rich, you're gonna make a comment. No, he was. Well, I mean, it can't turn into where everybody's just doing what they want. It can, but that doesn't work well.
So I'm Larry Sturkey from Beaver Creek. But at the meeting, they said that the initial cost for just an engineering study. Nothing gonna happen. 250 grand is got of the money gonna spend for
No construction yet?
nothing. They just wanna look at it and have the engineering group study it for 250 grand. And you were right. It's a money grab.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you think it's
It is your money.
a deal or two dollar deal.
How can you set up a special assessment district for something that doesn't even exist? So you talk about a money grab.
Well, that's part of the court challenge, I believe, procedure.
Yeah, please make your comment. Or we'll be here moving along. I'm sorry to be that way. I just know every time we drift into these conversations. By the time 2 hours goes by, everybody's so tired and so mad, we don't make rational decisions. But thank you for the comments.
There's no rational decision.
No, bottom line is they can make sad anytime they want to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they did with the sewer and that's what they're doing here. County commissioners or the utility and a utility authority do it too. Okay. Thank you for the comments. Okay, on the agenda then, we're gonna move and follow the agenda for the special board meetings that were posted for 8/1 and 8/6 that did not happen. I already emailed those agendas to you. They are over there on the table if you do not have. So they look like that. And I'm gonna just start rolling through it unless somebody's got a problem with not knowing what I'm talking about here. Okay. First thing on that agenda had to do with oak wilt. Bottom line is, discovered oak wilt out there a little over 3 weeks ago. I know you can treat it with fungicide. I did a lot of forestry work. I know what it is. I know what could be done, and I learned a lot more in the last 3 weeks. So there was one area and we could treat with fungicide the surrounding healthy trees in a shot to try and keep them healthy. It's not 100% guaranteed, but I've seen it work. Since then, I found another spot that's in a worse location there. This is in Park 27. Another spot in a worse location where the infected tree, basically the heat in the summer stresses them out. They're already a little sick and they just give up the ghost. The top of the tree dies first, all the leaves drop. So there's a second one that kicked the bucket out there and it's surrounded by about 7 trees. There's 2 ways to treat this. One is to inject the healthy trees with a fungicide to kill the fungus. And it's similar to going to a doctor and getting a shot of antibiotics. The other way that I've learned is to treat it by trying to improve the health of the healthy trees, pretty much like taking vitamins or doing a holistic approach, where you fertilize the healthy trees heavily so that they are in better shape and are more able to withstand the fact that they had the oak wilt. So there's 2 ways to look at this, or 2 treatments. I'm going to make a motion and try to see if the board approves that we treat in both manners. And then we can watch it over the next couple of years and see which one might be more effective. If we don't do anything, they're all toast. I know that much. This is right along Old 27 and towards the back of the ball field. If it gets going, it'll take most of those trees out. So I can pass out some information. This is the fertilizer that you could use. I think they only have 3 of these.
That's fine.
This is the invoice for the fungicide treatment. And then I'll go into making the motion here. So those are the two methods. I am gonna make this motion and overstate the estimated cost. Primarily for the fungicide treatment, it is done by measurement at breast height. I took some quick shots at it. It's gonna come out in a ballpark of a number. I'm gonna request that we approve an amount more than that. And if we come in under that, great. It's gonna be what it is if we approve this to have. The fungicide is something we can buy, or the fertilizer is something we can buy right from Amazon, and it's not as expensive. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that the board approve the cost not to exceed $1,500 from Deering Tree Service, which is this one right here, to immediately treat with fungicide 4 healthy trees surrounding one of the oak wilt problem areas in Park 27. Do I have a second? for that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Detmer is second. Is there any board discussion, further board discussion on this?
Yeah, I, a few days ago, met a gentleman and his wife, that are working in the Legion right now and have been for quite a few weeks, taking down dead trees, limbs and otherwise from oak wilt. And they were, well informed, knowledgeable to all get go. I definitely like what they had to say about, like, you know, all this treatment and money for this, it doesn't really work. He always approaches the trees that he determines an age first. If a tree is young enough based on determination of an age, it has a chance to make it, especially the red oaks. White oaks are pretty much impervious to a certain degree, he stated. Yeah, just everything he said was really, really, the most I've heard from anyone about what to do and what not to do. And I just think spending money for fertilizer I use in my backyard for my trees is a futile waste of money.
Okay, additional discussion from me is, yeah, white oak can compartmentalize it. So what happens is the tree flattens, top dies.
Yeah.
White oaks could stop it right there. You'll see it because they're sitting there 2/3 alive. Red oaks, they're done. That's the end of them, but it spreads through the roots, it spreads through the leaves. So we're not trying to talk, I would not even attempt to treat a tree that had any signs of oak. You're talking about trying to treat trees that do not have a sign and try and keep them from getting it. Is it 100%? No. Is sitting around and doing nothing gonna help this situation? I don't think so. So for the amount of money we put in it to try and preserve, for each one of those trees that drops or that dies, you're looking at $800 to even get it out. So if we preserve it for 1,200, you preserve 1,200, what's that?
And they have red oaks.
Yes.
Okay.
And not to argue with you, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much to this story. I don't want to get into
Yeah.
the, I get what's, these are the two preferred methods to try and save it. My neighbors use the fungicide. It works. Worked for them. Trees are probably in the 2/3 year range where they're actually ready to be cut. But they're not old trees. They're not in the 80 to 100-year-old. Okay, any other comment from the board?
The money come out of the Parks and Rec budget.
Good question.
I can tell you, yes.
I should have said yes.
If the
I
money,
don't see why not, yeah, I don't see why not, it's in the parks.
It's in the parks, yeah.
if the money came out of the Parks and Rec's budget, and we have that money to spare, I would be in favor of rolling the dice and trying to save the trees, but if there's no money available, then there's no money available.
But yeah, there's money available on the park and rec budget. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll end the discussion. I'm gonna repeat the motion. I'll make a motion, the board approve the cost not to exceed $1,500 from Deering Tree Service to immediately treat with fungicide 4 healthy trees surrounding one of the oak wilt problem areas in Park 27. So this certainly involves money. If we can do the roll call again, that would be great.
Does that include the fertilizer too?
No, that's a separate motion.
It's $3.
Pardon me, I couldn't hear you.
It's $53 for fertilizer.
That's a separate motion, but I'm a separate one to do that.
Wait a minute, it's $53 for,
Okay, we're in the middle of a motion. It does not include the fertilizer. The next motion is for the fertilizer.
I kind of think it should be all one.
It's two separate things.
That's what I think too.
I put them together and voted for them.
Okay. Then I will explain what the fertilizer use is all about.
Well, we have to vote on this motion. It's on the table.
Okay, well, then we can vote on this motion on the table. I'm trying to avoid explaining both things in one. Anyway, it's on the table, so roll the vote. It ain't gonna take that long to do the other.
All right, we're good? Okay, Supervisor Bertrand, Clerk Pine,
Yes.
Treasurer Hobbs, Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Trustee Monet,
Okay, the motion carries 4-1. Okay, the next motion, this has got to do with using the fertilizer. When you use fertilizer, you cannot, it is a one-time application per year and you can't do it now. Fungicide you can do right now. Fertilizer you can't do now. You have to wait till fall with the rains or you're gonna fry the roots. So you end up putting a bunch of small holes, putting a half apart, cone shape, pouring the fertilizer in it, let the tree come to the fertilizer and use it. There's also some insect killer stuff in there. Anyway, so that's the different method of how to treat it. A 10-pound container, if you're looking at the area that we're talking about to not use fungicide, probably has 6 or 7 trees in the immediate area. To fertilize all that area, it comes in a 10-pound container. I think a 10-pound container would cover it. And if you're only doing it once a year, the motion that I'm gonna make includes the fact that we would buy. I'm gonna change it, that we buy 2 containers of the fertilizer. And it may take both of them to put an application down this fall in that group of trees for the 6 healthy trees that surround the second problem area. So completely different way to do it. I think, to me personally, it will give us some information on which works best. And if they don't work, the effort to do it rather than, the cost to remove the trees if they die. And part of this problem is you cannot mess with oak wilt trees this time of year. Wait till late fall or winter when there's snow on the ground, disturb the fungus that's under the bark. You can't do anything about that crap right now. You can, but you're gonna screw up and spread it less. To roll the dice and see if we can save them is worth it in my opinion. Is there any other discussion from the board on this? And then I'll run the motion out there.
well, we need to get to the motion second first.
Yeah, I'm saying,
Well, we
Hey,
can't, we
Mark.
shouldn't have discussion until after the motion second.
I'm saying if anybody wants to say anything about what I just said in relation to using
Oh.
fertilizer. Have at it. If there's any questions about it, we can get to it later, but that's the basis. And thank you, you're right. So I'm gonna make a motion that we purchase 2 10-pound containers of advanced tree and shrub product and feed, which I just passed out. Not to exceed $150, because I don't know what shipping is. For use on the 6 healthy trees surrounding the second oak wilt problem area in Park 27 by the horseshoe pits. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any further discussion or discussion period?
Will the money come out of the Parks and Recreation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and sounds like it probably would even fit in with the $1,500 we got set out to do the trees, so no problem with it.
Yeah, and the bottom line, it might not, even be a separate money issue. Any other discussion from the board? Okay, we'll end the discussion and I'll repeat the motion. Make a motion that we purchase 2 10-pound containers of advanced tree and shrub product and feed not to exceed $150 for use on the 6 healthy trees surrounding the second oak wilt problem area in Park 27 by the horseshoe pits. Again, money, money, money. We can have a roll call, that'd be great.
Certainly. Treasurer. Ellis,
Yes.
Clerk. Trustee Denton,
Yes.
trustee Monet, yay, and supervisor Bertrand.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, motion carried 5-1.
I like fertilizer.
Next on the agenda is. Or next on that previous agenda that we're running through is to discuss and vote on the following. To assist the Cancer Sucks softball fundraiser that'll be held on September 20th to 23rd. I sent this material or the board this material previously. If not, if you don't have that, I have some to pass out. This is a proposal, for whatever it costs.
Oh,
I think I only got two, for what it
That's fine.
costs. To do the infield by this particular company who did Roscommon Townships. Oh, I do have no.
Didn't we miss something?
No, we haven't missed anything yet.
Discuss-
The bid,
We're still on number 8.
we're still in the old agenda that we never had a meeting on. 8B. So this is the estimate from Saxon Equipment. They did the work for West Hammond Township. And read some stuff off. Okay, that's the material involved.
What happened to the $5?
Situation is that this started in the Parks and Rec Committee to rehab our infield on a softball field. We did the pickleball tennis court situation. Wanted to move into the baseball field. The infield is in horrible shape. It moved from there to conversations with Roscommon Township on the cost that they had to pony up to rehab those 2 fields. So the cost for them was for each field, $5,250. Parks and Rec got some offers to it. We got an offer to have somebody who would bring in the diamond dust material. We had an offer from a local company that would help spread it. If you look at the bill from Science and Heavy Equipment, what this cost includes for them is to strip and refinish both, or this one's both baseball diamonds. Trucking the material and then strip and subgrade the existing diamond and refinish it with 4 inches of new diamond dust. I don't want to do this alone. I think that's stupid. If we try and do it alone and we don't strip that thing down to the proper height before we start, we're just asking for more problems. So it went from Parks and Rec trying to figure out how to do it as cheap as possible. Then Lou came in, who runs the softball tournaments, and we talked. This is a great organization. They donate the money locally to a cancer victim with no fanfare. They don't ask them to come to a banquet or anything like that. So there's already about 24 teams involved from all over the state that'll come here to play. They play at the Roscommon Township Nat Field. There's 2 fields there. They want to play here. Said, great. We're in the middle of talking about trying to rehab this thing. So that got to the point where the cost to do it would be $5,250 from the Saxon Equipment. So you can use that as an estimate for what it would be to have it done. As far as the actual tournament, it's just the same weekend as Fireman's Memorial. I believe that's 22nd, 23rd. I'll read briefly. Hosting the 12th annual Cancer Sucks benefit. 24 teams, it's probably more now. They also do doubles and singles disc golf. Anyway, they take place at the Roscommon Township Park. And also this, after we talked, he included us at the Lyon Township Field, but we are here to solidify the money to make this happen. We started 12 years ago to raise money for loved ones with pancreatic cancer. Over the years, the word has spread about this tournament. People come from all over to get involved. Became the largest benefit tournament in the state of Michigan. We are very proud of that. Proceeds are undecided as of yet, but they would try to donate to 2 families. This includes a lot of radio play, a lot of promo for us. We were also talking about trying to get our local businesses involved. So part of the motions would be that the township not only, use the park and rec money we were already talking about to replace the infield, do a little work on the outfield to flatten it out, which I can do, or the maintenance crew. And then we can also become a sponsor for X amount of money, which is a separate. So all that being said, I'm gonna ask, do we have a motion to rehab our infield as stated in the Stone Quest Roscommon Township contract for the approximate cost of $5,500? Again, a little bit of an overestimate. Do we have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, we have a second. Oops. Okay, is there any discussion from the board? I'm sure there is. I can fill you in with the details that I'm aware of. But that's pretty much where it's at right now.
Jim, I am totally on board with this. No problem with it. I think it's a great use to get that dilapidated diamond that's been sitting there for the last, who knows how many years doing nothing. I would have asked, is this the only quote we got?
The quote, well, we were working on a different way to do it. That was coming in at about 5,000. I went right straight to Diane at Roscommon Township because they just had this done. I'm gonna say that that is a fair estimate. If we ask them, if we start shopping around, I think we run into the same problems of can we get this thing done in time?
Oh, I would just add, I don't really think we should do some due diligence and at least get another quote. That's all.
I'm trying to get another quote.
Just so we
I
can,
understand when all these people, that it's gonna be right in that ballpark. I'm trying to get to my educator that approved. If we chase more quotes, I'm fine with that. It's a matter of, this is the estimated cost without nailing it down to.
So what is the
What
quote?
you're saying.
I'm just curious what the quote is I have in front of me that from Saxton, that's 10,500.
That's for two fields at Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's in the fine print over there.
They had two fields there, they did both of them for 10,500. Our estimated cost.
Oh, I thought, well, why do I care about
No,
that?
yeah,
That's where the 250.
Oh, I care.
Yeah. Oh, you guys, was it pretty damn good estimate?
something.
And I talked about this before.
All right.
The money. It's not right for it.
Time is important.
This time is important on this. Well, no problem checking around, but I suspect it'll be right about there.
Hmm.
So that's, so re-rate chat too.
Well, for me, I mean, I'm a stickler about procedures. I find it appropriate to allocate money without actually having someone that the money's allocated to. I just don't roll that way. I think it's more important for the township have, we are going to pay ABC for this service, not just here's the money, but that's me.
I appreciate that, sir. Is there any other board comments? Okay, I'm gonna repeat the motion. I actually repeat how it is stated. We have a motion to rehab our infield as stated in the Stone Quest Roscommon Township contract for the approximate cost of $5,500. This involves money, so we would again need a roll call vote, please.
Absolutely. Wait, absolutely. Is that close enough?
It's probably
I get it.
because it doesn't sound like,
Supervisor Bertrand,
yes,
Clerk Byrne,
Yes.
Treasurer Hobbs,
yes.
Trustee Denver,
Yes.
Trustee Monet, no.
Good, motion carries 4-1. Next thing on the agenda is support from Lyon Township for the Cancer Sucks tournament. Again, I sent some of this material out. I hope you all got it. If not, I passed out what I had or, what we have right now. But this has got to do with the township itself previously has supported this tournament, but would not do anything about the field. I'm just gonna make a flat out motion that I think this is a great cause. We get a lot of great promo off it, great press. So I'm gonna make a motion. I'll make a motion that we offer $500 from the township as a sponsor and supporter of the Cancer Sucks tournament. Do we have a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, we have a second. Discussion, please.
I definitely don't think this is a good idea because we are not a private company. These are public funds. And if we start choosing what charities we want to donate to, doesn't sit well with me. It's public money. Nothing against charities, but I don't think public funds are intended for that. You want to donate on your own? Not a problem, but that's just my opinion.
I hear you. I know all of the other townships involved. I don't want to equate it to that.
I don't hear about the other townships.
Yeah, we had also talked about how the overall goal here from Parks and Rec was to start getting local business sponsors for the field and put the placards up and all that stuff.
Local business, sure, that's awesome.
And at the end of this motion, there's other stuff we can do too. Anyway, any other discussion on the township making a donation to the Cancer Sucks tournament?
Yeah, for me, I would just like to know, because it's me, from a legal aspect. I mean, are they a 501c3 or 3C, whatever it's called? And we can't donate to those. A government entity can't. So can we? Yeah, I would not be on board. Although I love organizations like this. I try to donate to a lot of cancer research stuff, for animals and humans every year. But without the legal question being answered of like almost basically what Treasurer Hops was stating, like picking and choosing, I don't feel comfortable.
Thanks, sir. Any other board comments?
I agree with both the comments that have been done so far.
Okay, any others? Sorry, you can't talk. I can see you sitting.
No, I was shaking my head no.
Okay, okay, so if no more board comments, I'll repeat the motion. I will make a motion to offer $500 from the township as a sponsor and supporter of Cancer Sucks tournament. And again, that would involve a roll call vote, please.
Absolutely. Trustee Dimmer,
No,
Trustee Monet, no. Supervisor Bertrand,
I'm gonna abstain. First time.
can I say something? Legally, you're not allowed to abstain unless you have a reason to abstain, and you must disclose that under the Open Meetings Act to the public.
And I'm already involved in this thing, so I should probably not.
Very good, thank you. Clerk Perrin,
Nay.
Treasurer Hobbs.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, the motion does not carry. 4 to abstain. So the last part of that is I believe that we as a township board should pursue the local businesses to support this tournament. So that's kind of on us. The people I mean, you work at the store, anybody coming in there, whatever we can do to generate money for this thing is gonna be a good idea.
I agree.
Okay. Big D, we're gonna run or try to run another 20 minutes. Have to take a break. 8D had to do with a decision on the contract for dead branch removal only. Leaf with oak wilt branches and trees, or leave oak wilt branches and trees alone until early winter at all 3 parks. I've been out there a couple of times now and I know exactly what should be removed, but that's not what happened with some of the bids that came in. So there's trees out there that are marked that I would not include. 2 points, a couple of them we made, the very tops of the white oak trees may be dead, but from oak wilt, but they survive by compartmentalizing it. So some of the trees that got marked have dead tops on them and they're white oak. That doesn't mean they're gonna die. We don't need to hack the tree. But White Oak, the top dies and they compartmentalize that. It's so high up. To my knowledge, there's nobody here with a boom truck that can get up to that height and try and take that off of the top of the tree. At the same time, because of where they're located, if they fall into the other tree branches. Fall into the other tree branches. This maybe is a consideration for next year, but as they are right now, that's a separate situation from the ones that are dead branches on the side of the tree that are hanging over playground. When that stuff comes off, it's bull right now. I know there was a contract for $22,000 or $3,000. A lot of trees got marked. I went and looked at them all. They don't need to be cut. Trimming the top, marking it to trim the top when you do not have equipment to get to the top certainly isn't going to count. One of them is a white pine that is pruning itself. When trees grow, the top takes the sunlight out, the bottom branches die and drop. It's a white pine dropping it's pruning itself. And it got marked as like, we need to take this thing out of here. It's a 120-year-old tree. So I have a contract. I know Mr. Pern has one. This one here, I think, was for $6,000 some dollars.
Basically,
Yeah. Well, yeah, one of them was 23,000. Another one was 6,150, maybe a little bit more. But the things that I see on here, I would not suggest we cut.
this is all JC. That's
Yeah, no, I'm not, I'm saying that.
all those three are
Yeah.
JCs.
We have a couple of different things here. I was not there to talk with the guy doing this. I went and looked at some of the work that they marked. I don't agree with it. And you have to add in, I think at least one of these people is talking about, yeah, Oakwood, you gotta get it out of here. No, I don't. If you get it out of here now and it's banging around on the ground, it just spreads it. You know, typically you want to lake fall or even snow on the ground. So the last bid that I got, I guess I only got two of them, is from Philby. So I went around with him to all three parks and looked at every branch that, in my estimation, the dead branches that are over the playground equipment that can be reached with a boom truck, not including oak wilt branches, which you don't want to mess. To cut those all out and to paint the stump area so that when you cut them, you look at them, if they got any moisture, you paint it over so the disease can't get in there. That one's for about $6,000, I believe, to do all three parks. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve, or I'm sorry, it's $4,000 from Sylvie to do all three parks, as I just stated, not go in there and cut everything that. So I'm gonna make a motion and we approve that. We did have a couple of contract bids, and maybe this isn't gonna fly. We are now well over 3 weeks having discovered this problem and have done nothing. I'm gonna make the motion, especially for Sunset Park where there was over 15 branches hanging right over the plate. Basically, the oaks are pruning themselves and we're not paying attention. I will make a motion that we approve the offer of $4,000 from Shelby Tree Care to cut only dead branches not suffering from oak wilt at all three parks. Do I have a second for that? I'll ask for a second again. Okay, then
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any further discussion from the board?
Oh, yeah, we got lots of discussion. Mince my words a little bit. I had W and W from Pittman come out with me to look at only one part. Now, he had no idea what the first proposal was from Mr. Bilby. But his rate for Samoset only was $3,000. And without knowing what that was, this guy walked around with me. His name is Walt from W&W, and he came in with a quote that he wrote down on a piece of paper, and he handed it to me. His quote was for $2,000. 2,000, same work they were talking about.
I need to just say, no, it's not, because I looked at his contract and he wants to take a tree out of there that does not need to come out. And some other additional stuff that he. It's not the same quote. But go ahead.
The quote that Mr. Philby gave was 3,000. This guy gave a quote for 2,000.
Right.
Now I had my guy come back, W&W, to go to all the parts this time. And he came up with a bunch of different quotes. He does not know even now what Philby's quote was at 4,000. But Mr. Philby on his quote says there's 2 trees affected at Phoenix Park. Of 8 houses in Phoenix Park, there's 13 trees affected with dead branches in it. So I'm not taking the Philby quote seriously, not at all. And the other one, nothing to do with Oakmont.
It's, if it's 3 branches, or what did he say? How many branches?
This one? Yes, 2 trees. That's what he put down for Phoenix Park.
Prune it back to.
Phoenix Park, wouldn't say, oh, that's a lie. It's not. Jesus. Anyways,
I'm fine with, if you want to discuss it more.
I'm trying to make the point that, Mr. Philby and the Wolf do not agree on how many dead branches there are. I certainly don't agree with Mr. Philby. I'm trying to get the best bang for the buck with a good job. He has not come back with not cutting down trees. It's including a lot of dead trees, not trees, nothing like that. This included a lot of stuff. His total price for 3 parks was $3,800. As I said, the first quote that he gave was 2,000 as opposed to the Shelby 3,000. So I just want to put that out there. You guys do what you want. It can be voted on. I'm just giving you my kind of discussion that I went. Oh. Sorry, I'm not doing it too well. The first time for Samoset, $1,000 cheaper, from 3,000 to 2.
Let me get this right so you don't have to talk. So
No,
he gave you a quote for all 3 parks, dead branches, at 3,800,
who?
whoever you're talking.
JW, no, 5,800 for all 3 parks, all the dead branches with some tree cuttings down.
Some more work for a couple $1,000 more, a lot more work.
Okay, I'll say it once and then we can, I'll ask for more discussion. I know what I'm looking at. I don't know who the hell went out there and looked, and I don't know who's trying to sell us to cut stuff down that doesn't need to be cut down. The dead branches that do not have oak wilt are included in the contract for Martin Shelby. I've known Martin a long time. I know you maybe have not had good experiences with him. I trust that what we both walked out there and looked at is what needs to be cut down. And if it doesn't fly, it doesn't fly. We'll go into another week and another week of screwing around with this. That's fine. I'm telling you, I have complete confidence in what he and I walked around and looked to take out and saw plenty of things marked that should not be messed with because of oak wilt and do not need to come out, period, because they're not dead. Any other
I'll
discussion?
continue the discussion then. My guy from W&W did not want to have those trees. This was all from a maintenance person.
Right.
And I don't want you to give the wrong impression here. You trust Sylvie? I do not. That's pretty easy. If one quote was 3,000 and one was 2, that's pretty easy enough for one quote.
Okay, give me I'll run the motion again unless there's a discussion. If you give me so he said he would do all 3 parks for X amount of money. How much?
5,800.
Okay, so we're looking at 5,800 as opposed to Shelby saying 4,000, and I know what Shelby's gonna take out.
Well, if you're gonna end the discussion, I can't talk about it, but there's not 2 trees at Phoenix Creek, there's 13. So I can count. I see a dead branch, I know one, so you wanna mislead people, do what you gotta do. I'm telling you what I saw.
Okay, I know Martin and I looked at all the dead branches, 15 more dead branches. If he wrote down 2 trees, I'm not sure what that's about. I know it's anyway, I'm gonna move it and it goes with
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion that we approve. I'm sorry, we already got the motion.
Yeah, you did, first and second, but not.
Yeah, I will restate it for the sake of a vote. I make the motion, we approve the offer of 4,000 to Shelby Tree Care to cut only the dead branches not suffering from oak wilt at all three parks. We have a roll call, please, in our communal.
Yes, absolutely. Treasurer Lapse.
Oh, and so I'm just so confused over these quotes. So I know apples to apples.
Yeah. Very good. Clerk Friend,
No,
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Trustee Monet, Trustee Denton.
No,
Okay, the motion does not carry. At a.
is it feasible for me to make a motion?
Sure is.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to get Walt from W and W back out here and explain just the dead branches, not cutting down those trees, which I agree is a great deal more work. Just the dead branches at the three parks and only the dead branches that are gonna endanger the kids playing on those playgrounds. If it's back deep in the woods, I couldn't care less.
No, you don't have to make a motion if you want to do it, though.
Not to mention, everyone has a cell phone. Take 13 pictures, 13 branches.
Fine. No motion needed, all right?
Okay. God bless America. Back to the original agenda now. The meetings that were called that did not happen, we're done with that. The original agenda number 9. Finalize the Pam Scott pay issue for the money paid as mileage and discuss the attorney's suggestions to choose from and vote. Further discussion on this will apply to mileage not yet turned in. We previously as a board approved that if Pam submitted the check paid for mileage, which should not have happened, that was incorrect to pay her for mileage, that then the board would pay her that money back, and the issue was exactly how. I sent all this stuff to you guys. I hope you got it. The attorney got back to me because I asked basically. He had given us options before, we had talked about, I'd rather have him tell us what he preferred, as far as legality. His answer was, I would pay her a bonus for working on an emergency basis during urgent township need. Pay it out as a paycheck, taking out whatever normal withholding taxes you would take out for her normal pay. That should sort things out. Pam has written a letter that I just want to read the beginning of. She's thanking us for the opportunity to work with us. I believe I sent this to all of you too, but I'll read it.
Yep.
When the position was offered, it included mileage at $30 a day, which is less than the IRS rate of 70 cents per mile. Drive 68 miles a day, so that would be $47.60 per day. We discussed all of this as far as being cheaper. Also, the fact that we were looking for Pam to help all three offices because we had the budget review by UHY consultants, and they found 5 or 6 major problems in our budget. And we were coming up to having to do the budget. They were certainly willing to come and help us through all of that for $250 an hour. Pam's wage at wage plus the mileage was certainly cheaper than that. So there's disagreement on exactly what happened, but we did agree that we're going to make this part whole as far as the money that was paid for the mileage. So here we are. Pam is willing to give us the check for the time period that was incorrectly paid as mileage rather than wages. Previous board agreement, I am suggesting we accept that check for the mileage paid and then follow the attorney's advice to pay her back that same amount as a bonus for the work she did on an emergency basis. Again, we were stuck with UHY at $250 an hour and 5 major budget issues. as a consultant for all three offices. So that's the backstory to this point. I'm gonna make a motion that we accept Pam's check of $1,140 as a return for mileage incorrectly paid from February to April 30th. Then pay her that amount correctly as a payroll bonus check, paycheck, taking out whatever withholding and taxes normally taken out for her pay. Do we have a second to finish this thing off?
I'll second.
Yeah, that opens it up to board discussion.
Well, I might as well start. I don't even know where to go with this. First of all, I don't agree with what was just read. I don't ever remember sitting at a meeting where the board approved to review the idea and vote on for giving back mileage that I noted at a work session way back that should have never been paid in the first place. This all started because she should have been hired as a contractor. If she were a contractor, the mileage wouldn't even be an issue. It was never discussed about by the board to give her mileage. No one that I know of ever discussed it behind the scenes, and they couldn't collectively because it'd be a violation of an Open Meetings Act. So I don't know who promised the mileage in the first place. It was wrong to do so, to put her on payroll. The prior board, and I've done some research, passed a resolution that township employees do not get bonuses. So to now go back and say that the township will give Pam Scott an emergency bonus or a bonus for an emergency situation, I would like to have the emergency situation clarified as such, because there was no emergency. And if there was an emergency, if anyone deserves a bonus as an employee, it's Courtney Hutzel or Heitzel, or however you pronounce her last name. Sorry, that's a little, that got loud.
We'll probably need to edit that out.
So I don't see how, if, for lack of a better word, and I don't mean it this way, but it puts into perspective, if paying someone mileage was illegal, just for the sake of argument, then them giving it back and giving an emergency bonus when bonuses aren't allowed to employees in this township somehow makes it legal. I don't think that's fair that the taxpayers of this community ever promised her that mileage, and I haven't spoken to anyone on this board who says they agreed to pay her mileage. I think it's very unjustified, and it's just wrong to put that on the taxpayers. If that's a deal that was made with Deputy Supervisor Scott and Supervisor Bertrand, I have absolutely no knowledge of that. So I don't see how this makes it right. I was told by people I know that she doesn't have to pay it back. It was included by legally, it was included when I noted it that it was over $1,850 at one point. That we approved it during the consent agenda. I voted no, but the rest of the board approved it. Once a consent agenda is approved, it stands. It is legal. It's done. So I don't really understand what the attorney's talking about at this point in time, when legal people I know have made it very clear that it's a moot point. She got paid the money. She doesn't have to return the money, even if the board never approved it. Once you approve it in a consent agenda, it is done legally. So.
Thank you, sir. Any other, I can add to that, but I'll see if there's any other discussion.
I'm gonna say is if that's the case, then let's move on to the next one.
Any other?
I'd also like to know, you said for mileage that wasn't turned in. So are we you're gonna bonus her mileage that was promised to her after the fact? When it was noted that she was getting paid mileage? People need to make that, should be made clear.
I'll try and clear up some of this. It happened. It did not come out on the agenda. We already went through this once. And I remember it. Kevin Hobbs remembers it. Clerk Byrne does not. We voted then that we were going to do this, to take the mileage money back. I am following the attorney, our municipal attorney's advice. That's how to do this. He is on retainer. I appreciate your suggestion that something else could happen. This is what he said we can do to fix this situation. And in my mind, he tells us what to do, so we don't get in trouble doing so.
Is he aware that there's a motion on the table from the prior board that employees of the township do not get bonuses unless you pass another resolution which overrides the prior resolution that opens up the door for bonuses for employees. You can't just say we can do something if motions and resolutions say you can't do them unless you introduce a new motion or resolution which overrides the old one.
I appreciate what you're saying.
Okay.
Gonna throw it out there, and if it flies, it flies, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, I'd like to add too that, I don't think, the mileage thing happened in my mind. It didn't happen in my mind. But I don't see any reason for them to give us that money and then us to give her another trip for the same amount of money. That doesn't make sense to me.
That was what the attorney said, to legally resolve problem.
Which is only advice, which is not legal binding.
I mean, bottom line is, no, we should not have paid her mileage. He's saying this is how you correct that problem. We offered her a situation to come here. And in good faith to keep with that, this is a solution too.
Well, I'm a board member and I don't ever remember that offer, whether I was here or not.
Okay.
So,
Any other discussion from the board?
oh, nothing personal, Pam, honestly. For the record.
Okay, nothing else from the board. I'll state that this is what the attorney suggested we should do. Our municipal attorney on retainer. So I'll restate the motion. I made a motion that we approve the offer of, I'm sorry. I'll make the motion that we accept Pam's check for $1,140 as a return for mileage incorrectly paid from February to April 30th, then pay her that amount correctly as a payroll bonus paycheck, taking out whatever withholding and taxes normally taken out for her pay. So could we have a roll call, please? Again.
There's no dollar amount for the bonus. You've offered her a bonus. What's the dollar amount you're gonna give her?
Same amount, 1,140, but run it through payroll.
Okay. As presented, roll call. President Reeves.
Some illegal, yes.
Well, you can't go back, so.
I just don't know the legality of doing this, but as far as the mileage that was paid under the standing, I'm not one to go back and renege on something that's promised to somebody, so, oh, yes.
Clerk Martin,
No.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Trustee Monet, no. Trustee Dick. All right.
You gotta read them in different order.
I know, I should, yeah.
Just under my lead. The best of my ability, I vote yes.
Okay, that motion carries 3-2.
Just for the record. From now on, when anything like this, hopefully never happens again. But when things do happen like this, let's please make sure we're on legal standing before we proceed forward. That's all.
I couldn't agree more, and it's one of the reasons that we're videoing all of this. That particular meeting, we did not have a video. And here we are paying the price.
And now as an employee of the township, I want a bonus.
I will say this. And I don't mean this to be mean. But I will say this, you're not in this office enough to know what kind of an emergency we're going through at any particular.
I believe a state law declares that if an emergency is put out there, that the entire board is to be notified in a timely manner of that emergency.
And that was what part of the hearing was for as a consultant, so that we can meet the deadline on the budget. And the problems that were pointed out in the budget. That happened. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have it.
Yep. Just too
Okay.
bad there's an emergency and I never heard of an emergency.
I think we're really not gonna like this.
That's right.
9B, it remains that Pam had additional hired as a consulting mileage that she had never turned in. for days worked from May and June totaling 34 days. That would have been an additional amount of, and I probably got the wrong number right there. That would be an additional amount. We just settled the mileage paid, but not the mileage owed. Between the previous motion and this one, she would have been made whole in comparison to the original hiring agreement. So there's money out there. Oh, here's the correct number, $1,020. So just a quick backstory, with the mileage thing kind of blew up, everybody got pissed. She quit turning in them. But we just now rectified the fact, though not a unanimous vote, that we're not going to renege on what was offered. But it does remain that the additional sum she never turned in because it was causing such a conflict. I'll make a motion that we pay Pam Scott the additional sum of $1,020 as a bonus for the work she did as a consultant, 19 days in May and 15 in June, working for all three offices as a payroll paycheck, taking out whatever withholding and taxes normally taken out for her pay. This would close the lid on this thing.
I'll
Do
second.
we have a second? Do we have a second?
I'll second for discussion. First of all, do we have an attorney opinion on this? Second of all, I have asked this same question to people I know. You never made it legal, the mileage in the first place, because you didn't put it in the records. It's not in the minutes. There's no record of it ever being approved by this board. So to now go back and retroactive to say we're going to pay her, forget about the other part now. You guys just voted on that. Now you want to pay her mileage for something that was never approved legally by this board. And an intention is not an actual.
I can tell you what the attorney said to do. If you do not have the record, then go back to the best recollection and intent of the board members who were there. Mr. Hobbs remembers it. I remember it. Mr. Pern doesn't.
There was 3 board members there.
Yes.
We weren't there.
No,
So,
they weren't there.
3 of us remember it and 2 of you do. So what's the best intention of the board?
No, 3 people at the board meeting. Remember the 2 people at the board meeting remember this happened. The 3rd does not, and there's no record other than that. The attorney said you can go with what the board members who were there felt had happened and what their intent was. That's what we just voted on. And Mr. Hobbs stated also, not to renege on some. It's the same situation. It's a matter of whether we're going to cover the rest of the money that was involved in this.
So I will say this, I do remember. I remember some of it, no doubt. But now. The last one is finalized, going forward. If something wasn't turned in. Regardless of the reason. I don't know how we can justify payment.
This is not a payback. This is.
Well, no. Pam has miles sitting there that she didn't turn in because she didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
If she didn't turn them in. How can we pay them? Is what I'm saying.
Because the other motion they had to do was she turned them in, and what are we gonna do
I
about
mean, I could say
it? So she did not.
order for Lyon Township business.
Yeah, you good. I'm saying this motion is different because she never did turn them in. Right. But it is money, and if you look at what the original intent was, we were gonna pay her. She didn't turn it in because everybody was flipping out.
Well, again, I'm fine on the first one, no problem. That was mileage that. That was agreed upon, but. For me to not being able to turn it in and to say, yeah, let's pay her, like I'm a little torn on that.
How about I propose that anyone who has to drive over 10 miles to come to your job, which is the start in the first place, we pay them. We're going to give it out. Let's give it up. She should have been a contractor, not an employee. Bottom line, it's happened. It's done. We need to move on, but
Yes, we do.
I mean, why not? That's what we're saying. Employees are getting mileage now.
Any other comments?
Okay, yeah, well, I think we're getting a little bit off the subject here, because someone doesn't remember with the clarity that the supervisor does. He knows there was something said about mileage. I don't think there's any mileage. It's not turning it in, and I think she stopped turning it in because of a lot of stories that we heard from other people that work in our offices, not connected with the board or their other things. So then they did some investigation and they found out mileage was not legal. Then we went to the attorney. He found it was not legal. Just my opinion, but this is a whole different deal.
Well, it is different than money paid, yeah.
And this would be yet another bonus that employees didn't get based on resolution from the crew.
At this point in time, yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion from the board? Okay, I'll run it back in, see what happens.
Not during a motion. Thank you.
Being the chair.
Oh, excuse me.
I'll do the same thing a little more politely. Yeah, not during the motion. Thank you for offering. So the motion on the table is that we pay Pam Scott the additional sum of $1,020 as a bonus for the work that she did as a consultant, 19 days in May and 15 in June. Working for all three offices as a payroll paycheck, taking out whatever withholding and taxes normally taken out for her pay. So again, run through change your order. Don't leave fourth down this last.
Last dating. Steve Monet. Yeah. Treasurer.
So,
Oh,
Supervisor Bertrand.
yes. Okay, so it fails at a wonderful. All right, what time we got? Oh my.
2:40. Break time.
We're not to a break yet, but let me look at how much we got left there.
Two, three, four.
you could take 10 minutes if you want.
Well, we'll do.
6
Do
minutes.
one more. Generally, you don't want to have a break if there's contention in the
Yeah.
crowd. I don't think you get.
Oh,
Are you gonna be able to recharge?
1 minute.
It's probably not gonna be quick. All right, well, then let's take a break right now and resume in about 7 minutes.
On a no parking zone, no parking sign, you would find out. Or